My name is Eleanor, or at least that's what I chose to call myself 20 years ago when I decided to disappear from the lives of my children. Before that, I was simply mom, a title I cherished, a role I embraced with every fiber of my being, a responsibility I carried with unwavering devotion. For 30 years, I poured my heart and soul into raising my two children, a son and a daughter. I was their rock, their confidant, their first teacher, their biggest cheerleader. I sacrificed my own dreams, my career aspirations, even my personal comfort, all to ensure they had every opportunity, every advantage, every ounce of love a mother could possibly give. I remember the tiny hands that clutched mine, the innocent faces that looked up at me with absolute trust. I remember the sleepless nights spent soothing fevers, the endless hours at school plays and sports events, the painstaking effort to bake the perfect birthday cakes, each one a testament to my boundless affection. We weren't wealthy, but we had something far more valuable, a home brimming with laughter, warmth, and an unbreakable bond. Or so I believed. My children, Thomas and Sarah, were my world. Every decision I made, every breath I took, revolved around their well-being and happiness. I taught them right from wrong, encouraged their passions, celebrated their triumphs, and held them close through their failures. I was present, always. My love was a constant, a bedrock they could always rely on. But as they grew, something shifted. It wasn't sudden, not a dramatic rupture, but a slow, insidious erosion, like sand slipping through my fingers. The phone calls grew shorter, less frequent. The visits became rarer, punctuated by hurried excuses and promises of next time that often evaporated into thin air. At first, I rationalized it. They were adults now, building their own lives, chasing their own dreams. It was natural, I told myself, for children to spread their wings. My heart ached, but my rational mind tried to understand. I'd call, send thoughtful gifts, check in, always making sure they knew I was there, waiting, loving. Then came the forgetting. It started subtly, a birthday card that arrived weeks late, an anniversary mention that was clearly an afterthought. Then my own birthday passed without a single call, a text, or even an email from either of them. The silence was deafening. I tried to reach out, feigning casualness, asking if they'd been busy. Their responses were vague, apologetic, but devoid of genuine remorse. It was as if my special day, a day I had celebrated with them for decades, had simply ceased to exist in their minds. The sting was sharp, a cold sliver of ice in my chest. Mother's Day, a day I always looked forward to, became another silent testament to their neglect. No flowers, no cards, not even a quick phone call. I watched other mothers receive bouquets, beaming with pride as their children doted on them, and a bitter envy coiled in my stomach. I felt invisible, a phantom mother, present only in my own fading memories of what we once were. I started making excuses for them to my friends, to myself. Oh, they're so busy with work, or they must have forgotten, it happens. But deep down, I knew it wasn't forgetfulness. It was a choice to prioritize everything and everyone else over the woman who had given them everything. Over the next few years, the pattern solidified into a painful routine. Holidays came and went, marked by my solitary celebrations. Christmas, once a joyous explosion of family and warmth, became a quiet, lonely affair. I'd bake too many cookies, decorate the tree alone, and stare at the phone, willing it to ring. It never did. I tried to keep myself busy, to find joy in small things, but the ache of their absence was a constant companion, a dull throb beneath my ribs. I'd see families laughing in parks, grandparents doting on grandchildren, and an unbearable sadness would wash over me. I had envisioned a future filled with family gatherings, grandchildren, the continuation of the legacy I had poured my life into. Instead, I had an echoing silence. My health started to decline, a cruel irony given how much I had cared for theirs. I had a minor surgery, nothing life-threatening, but it required a period of recovery. I called Thomas and Sarah, hoping, praying that this might be the moment they would remember. I didn't ask for much, just a visit, a phone call, a sign that they cared. Thomas offered a perfunctory, "Hope you feel better, Mom," before launching into a detailed account of his new promotion. Sarah, meanwhile, was too busy planning a weekend getaway with friends to even feign concern. I lay in my hospital bed, staring at the sterile ceiling, a profound emptiness settling over me. The realization hit me then, with the force of a physical blow. I was not just forgotten. I was irrelevant. My existence held no weight in their bustling, self-absorbed lives. The final straw came on my 60th birthday. I had always imagined a small celebration, perhaps a quiet dinner with my children, a chance to reflect on the decades, to feel loved and appreciated. Instead, I received nothing. Not a text, not a call, not even a generic social media message. It was a Tuesday, a perfectly ordinary day for them, but for me, it was the culmination of 20 years of slow, agonizing neglect. I sat alone in my quiet home, a single cupcake with a flickering candle before me, and I wept, not just for the lost birthday, but for the lost years, the lost family, the lost mother I had become in their eyes. The tears were not of self-pity, but of profound grief for a love that had been so utterly squandered. As the candle burned down, a cold, clear resolve began to solidify within me. The pain had finally reached its saturation point, transforming into something harder, sharper, a fierce determination. I had spent half my life waiting for them to remember, to care, to simply acknowledge my existence. No more. I deserved more. I deserved peace, respect, and a life where my worth wasn't tied to the whims of two ungrateful adults. In that moment, an idea, radical and terrifying, yet utterly liberating, took root. I would disappear. Not just from their lives, but from my old life entirely. I would cease to be Mom. I would become someone new. The planning was meticulous, fueled by a quiet, burning anger and an even stronger desire for self-preservation. I spent months researching, making discreet inquiries. I sold my house, the very home where I had raised them, where every wall held a memory. It hurt, a deep, tearing pain, but it was a necessary severing. I liquidated my assets, withdrawing everything I could, leaving no digital trail that could be easily traced. I applied for a new social security number, a new driver's license, a new identity. Eleanor Vance was born on paper, a name I chose because it felt strong, resilient, a fresh start. I changed my hair color, updated my style, even started wearing glasses I didn't strictly need, just to subtly alter my appearance. I wanted to be unrecognizable, even to myself at times. The day I left was strangely devoid of emotion. I packed a single suitcase, leaving behind decades of memories, photographs, trinkets, the physical remnants of a life I was shedding. I didn't leave a note. There was nothing left to say. My last act in that house was to stand in the empty living room, the echoes of laughter long gone, and simply breathe. Then I walked out, locked the door, and got into a rental car, driving south, far away from everything I had ever known. I settled in a small coastal town, hundreds of miles away, a place where no one knew my past, where I was simply Eleanor. It was terrifying and exhilarating. For the first few months, I was a ghost, haunting my own new life. Every time the phone rang, my heart would leap, expecting to hear a familiar voice, a desperate plea. But it never did. The silence continued, even in my new existence, a testament to how truly forgotten I had been. That silence, which once tormented me, slowly began to heal me. It was proof that my decision was justified. I found a small apartment overlooking the ocean. The rhythmic crash of the waves became my new lullaby, washing away the echoes of the past. I took up painting, something I had always dreamed of doing but never had the time for. I volunteered at an animal shelter, finding solace in the unconditional love of forgotten creatures. I made new friends, people who knew nothing of my past, who saw me only as Eleanor, a kind, vibrant woman with a gentle smile and a quiet strength. These friendships were pure, untainted by expectation or resentment. They saw me, not just a role I was supposed to fulfill. 2 years into my new life, I heard from an old friend from my previous life, someone I had trusted implicitly and explained my situation to. She told me that Thomas and Sarah had finally noticed my absence. It wasn't a sudden panic, but a slow realization, a gradual dawning that their mother, the one who was always there, was simply gone. They tried calling, of course, but my old number was disconnected. They went to my old house, found it sold. They contacted neighbors, who could only offer vague answers about me moving away. My friends said they were frantic, guilt-ridden, desperate. They had even hired a private investigator, but my trail was cold, meticulously erased. They were searching for a ghost, a woman who no longer existed. My friend asked if I wanted to reach out, if I wanted to let them know I was okay. I considered it for a fleeting moment, a pang of the old love twisting in my gut. But then I remembered the birthdays, the holidays, the surgery, the decades of being an afterthought. I remembered the pain, the emptiness, the feeling of utter worthlessness. And I said no. My friend understood. She told me she wouldn't tell them anything, that my secret was safe with her. It was a profound relief, a reaffirmation of my choice. 20 years have passed since that day. 20 years since I became Eleanor. I am 70 now, my hair streaked with silver, my face etched with lines of experience, but my heart is lighter than it has been in decades. I have built a beautiful, fulfilling life for myself. I have friends who cherish me, hobbies that bring me joy, and a sense of peace that I once thought was unattainable. I have learned to love myself, to prioritize my own happiness, and to never again allow myself to be diminished by the neglect of others. I sometimes wonder about Thomas and Sarah. I imagine them, older now, perhaps with children of their own, finally understanding the profound emptiness of a mother's absence. I wonder if they ever truly grasp the magnitude of what they lost. Not just a mother, but a love that was boundless, unconditional, and ultimately irreplaceable. My friend occasionally sends me updates, always careful not to reveal too much. She told me once that they still bring up my name, still express regret, still harbor a faint hope of finding me. But I remain hidden. I remain Eleanor. My revenge wasn't about inflicting pain, though I know my disappearance has undoubtedly caused them a profound sorrow. My revenge was about reclaiming myself. It was about showing them, and myself, that I was not disposable. It was about proving that a mother's love, when taken for granted, can indeed wither and die, leaving behind a void that can never be filled. I carry no bitterness now, only a quiet understanding. They made their choices, and I made mine. And my choice, to disappear and live a life truly my own, was the best decision I ever made.